ghost. I'm laying up here in my bed, and I know you probably see an ambiance of my room. I have like a projector that shows like the stars, the galaxies, and I have that up on my wall. So you might be seeing that. You probably not be seeing my face because I'm laying down, facing away from the camera, but you'll be able to hear my voice. Now, this video is not going to be long. I promise you. I'm not going to make this video long. Now, I know you will have your opinions about what you think about what I'm about to say, which a lot of men are probably going to dislike, and probably some few women will probably dislike too, because I get a lot from females when I talk about women, you know, when it has to do with things like what I'm about to say, and please, if you believe in the Bible, okay. I don't want to hear any scriptures. I'm just going by my own belief, okay, and what I believe in. I don't want to hear nothing about the Bible. I don't want to hear about, Adam and Eve. I don't want to hear nothing about that because I already know the story. So the reason why, if you do talk about the Bible, let's talk about Lilith, Adam's first wife before Eve, because I believe Lilith was created first. And the only reason why I believe Lilith was created first because I believe women are probably the first creation in heaven and earth, because I believe in my heart that God is a female. No, it's not because I love females to death, because I do. I respect and love females. I have a daughter. I love my mother. She passed away. I loved all the females in my family. I always wanted a daughter. I got my daughter. And a lot of people will probably say, well, that's probably the reason why you believe that, because you have a daughter and you always wanted a daughter. No, it's not even about that. I believe that because man only can spread his seed, but a man does not carry a child for 9 months and doesn't give birth to a child. Knowing that a woman's Y in a man's chromosomes are all going to create a female and a male, but I believe in my heart that women were created first because of the way everything you know had started from the beginning of time. Now I wasn't there when Adam and Eve was created. I wasn't there when Lilith, when Adam was there, but I have a feeling the way everything looks today, the way man is so dominant over the female. And I believe once upon a time that the female was dominated, that dominated the male, that actually had control over the man. It's just that the woman just let the man have a little bit of space to let him rule, because the woman fell in love with the man. Because after he was created by the woman, I believe the woman allowed him to have a little bit of power. And I think the power went to the man's head. And next thing you know, the man took over the power of the woman. That's why the woman now is so submissive. Because I believe the man was submissive first before the woman was ever submissive to man. And the only reason why I'm saying that, because you can see how the way men act. Because when men are born, and I want you to understand that when men are born as children, you know, how do we act when we're children? We act like females. We act, not like boys. That means we cry, we whine, we beg for our mom's love. We're always around our mothers. We want our mothers to love us and hug us and kiss us. She want us to kiss the boo-boos. You know what I mean. And a lot of guys will say, I was never like that. Yes, you was, because you were raised by your mother. How is a woman can raise a child into a man when a man can't raise a child into a man? Think about that. Everybody said a man should always be in a child's life. But why is the mother 99% of the time taking care of the child, when the father is only there probably at least about 20% of the time? And it's been going on for at least about millennials. A man can leave the house, the man can leave the woman to take care of the child, and the woman always will have to take care of responsibilities of being a mother. always will have to take the responsibilities of raising the child into a man, or raising children into, you know, a man and a woman, while the father could just leave. Now, so a lot of men are going to be sitting up there saying, well, it's the woman's fault. But how do we know it's the woman's fault if you leave the woman to do what what she was created to do, was to raise a child? A man was never created to raise a child. A man was taught how to raise a child. Only a woman was. Women. You even see when girls were little. When girls are little, they play with babies, like little baby strollers. They play with baby dolls. They're always pretending like they're feeding, a child, even though they don't have no kids. Do you ever see boys do that? No. Boys would be playing with Tonka trucks, playing with Hot Wheels, and playing with G.I. Joes. But the thing is, and I always say this, and I'm going to keep on continuously say this, men have more of a feminine side than the female. If you really look at it, a man doesn't know how to be a man until a man gets older. A female learns how to be a woman when she's a child. Take this for instance. If a man is taught how to raise a man into a man, why is he not taught as a child? Even the father doesn't even teach him how to be a father. He only teaches him how to survive, right? A woman will teach a son how to be a father, because the mother is being watched by the son how to be a mother. Think about this. If a mother is teaching her son to be a man when she's raising him by herself, which is the hardest thing to do for a woman, to raise a man into a man, but she has to. What is she raising him into? She's raising her son into a father, a responsible man. Now, a man is supposed to do that, but men could just walk out the life and never be there. And men can get locked up, men can die early, men can get caught on drugs, the man and the woman can't get along anymore, so they just be separate. But the thing is that a lot of women always talk about they need a man to help raise a man into a child into a man, a son into a man. But women really do a good job. It's just that sometimes a lot of it you see today is that women don't have the strength or the power to raise a man into a strong man. That's what a man needs to do. Now, the only reason why I bring this up, saying women were created first, because I look at a man, because a man always is going to have the sister side of his mother. That means when he's a child, I'm not talking about when he's like a grown man. I'm talking about when he's a child. You see a lot of men act like little girls. What I mean by saying that, they cry, they whine, they always want their mom, they always try to hold on to their mother, they want their mom. If they trip and fall, they scream for their mom. If they hurt themselves, they go to their mother. When they need protection, they go to their mother. And the only thing about us guys, we are a descendant from our mothers. That means we love our mothers than we love more than our fathers, because our mothers are always there to protect us more than our fathers will ever be there to more to protect us. Even though our father's there, we will still run to our mothers. Mother's Day, we spend more time with our mothers. On holidays, birthdays, we always look for our mothers. When our mothers die, we have our hurt more than we will ever have for our father. Even though if our father was close to us, if our mother passes away, we feel more hurt than our mother passing away than our father. Even when our grandmothers or any of our family members that are female, even our sisters, cousins that are females, we will have more of a hurt of them passing away than our fathers. And I don't know why, but we do. And I believe when women were created, they created man because they got bored. They needed love. So they created the man. The man was just the most beautiful creation that the woman ever created. Looked at the man, and the man looked at her, and they both fell in love. But the thing was that the man wanted power. He's seen a little bit of weakness in the woman, so he wanted to show the woman, the one that created him, that he is more powerful. Just how everybody talk about how Lucifer didn't want to bow to man when God created His first creation was supposed to have been man. And he showed Lucifer, this is my creation. Lucifer said, no, I'm good. It's, no, 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 no. None of your creation is supposed to be better than us angels. But God was like, what do you mean? Like, this is something that I created. You should bow. Lucifer wouldn't bow. So they got a little situation. Lucifer was sent to hell, whatever, sent to earth, whatever. But that's what I believe that happened between man and woman. I believe the man wanted more power when she was in heaven, when he was in heaven. But, you know, woman wouldn't give him that power. So he was sent to earth. So when he was sent to earth, you know, he was alone. So the female God created a female for him. But they didn't get along. The first creation was Lilith. Lilith really loved Adam, but Adam really wanted power over her, like I said, like in heaven. So Lilith, like, no, you're not gonna get no power over me, sexually. So she left. And next thing you know, God created another female, which was Eve, which was more submissive, more easy to control, you know, and so this is my belief. And I know a lot of people are not going to believe me. A lot of people are going to show me the Bible and say, oh, this is what it says in the Bible. I don't care what it says in the Bible. Number one, I don't believe anything the Bible says half of the damn time because it was written by man. So I only believe in my heart, and I will always believe in my heart and my belief that women were created first. And I believe women were created first because they are the ones that carry the actual life of man. Because the reason why I say that, because man could give birth to sperm, give sperm to a woman, but sperms only used to fertilize their egg to create the Y, the Y, what you call it, extra Y chromosome from the male and female to create a child. But the woman carries the child for 9 months, and gives birth to the child through pain, and to be the first one to hold the child. And the child will only know the mother's smell and not the father's. Think about that. Only can hear the father's voice, but not know the smell and the scent of the mother that it carries with it when it's born. So the child knows that the mother's there and not the father. Now, throughout life, the mother will always have the child 24 hours, 365 days a year until it's 18 or maybe longer. The father could just say, okay, my child's here. I'm going to take care of it. But how long will the father stay? How long the relationship will be? Even if you're married, because marriage was created far down the road, far, far down the road through, the Arabs and the Jews that created, the Romans and the Jews that created marriage for the man to have power over the woman and financial things. So we can leave marriage out. Having a child is something that the woman is cherished to have, to take care of, to love. And the father is the one that has to be the one to want to do the same thing as the mother. Because the father can't be the mother. He can't be. He can't give that child love like the mother, because the mother will always have that bond with that child more than the father would. Even though the father's there, it doesn't mean anything, because the child will always want the mother's love, because the mother's always going to be there. And when the child's in trouble, when a child needs somebody to just talk to, I know a father should be good to talk to from a male's perspective, but a mother will always listen to her son, will always dedicate her time to her son, will always make sure her son is good. Even though she would love her daughter, but she would not love her daughter more than she loved her son. That's just fact. Even though she loved her daughter to death, but the son will always be loved more. And I always believe that the woman created the child or created the man because the man is something that she wanted to love. She wanted something to love, so it was created. And I believe the man just wanted power and wanted to take over the woman's power. Like if a woman's a queen, a lot of men see queens as not powerful people. So sometimes they will try to assassinate the queen so a man could be sitting on a throne It happened a lot. It happened through a lot through history that women will be queens and the man gets jealous, or the son gets jealous, or the father gets, or the head of the you know, once somebody's that supposed to protect the queen wants to take the queen's power and want it for his own, because that's what men are. Men are very jealous creatures when it comes to women that have the power. You can see it today. Men don't appreciate women at all. You see how they talk about women, how they down women, how they say women are this or that. But when you see a woman today, how they're degrading themselves, how they're disrespecting themselves, it's because of the man. The man is allowing these things to happen. They can stop it, but they can't. They feel like if they stop it, the woman's going to hate them even more. The women don't hate man. It's just women just don't understand why men won't let them have their own power, won't let them have their own money, have their own jobs, won't let them have their own independence. They just don't understand why men are still treating them like they did 10,000 years ago, when women had no rights, when women had no power, when women were not looked at as equal. Only women were supposed to be submissive and only give birth to children and only be able to work, jobs that were not labor jobs, but only men could do strong jobs. But we will never know how a female can work these things if we never seen them do these things. Throughout time and history, women struggled to try to survive. Man, how man tried to destroy women little by little, you know, by beating on them, abusing them mentally, physically, and emotionally, cheating on them, lying to them, because men could do that, because men had all the rights, men had all the rules, man wrote laws, man wrote the Bible. So the woman was taken out the Bible. Women were taken out of being in power. Even as queens, women were not allowed to actually speak amongst their king, or the king could actually assassinate, actually end their lives. Because you could take King Henry, for instance. King Henry wanted a son so bad, he beheaded 3 of his wives just because he didn't get a son. 3 of his wives beheaded them, and another one disappeared. And this is how it is. How is it that you only want a king? You want a king to sit on your throne, but you won't want to have a queen. And then this is when he had his daughter Elizabeth, and this is when Elizabeth was the only one that survived. He allowed her to be the one to sit on the throne until he died from all these type of diseases, and he hallucinated and he died. And it was just nasty how he died, but it was crazy. Women never can be looked at as equal, because man already said that women were never equal, because they believe everything is said in the Bible that was written by man, by kings, by popes, to make you understand that the woman is never going to be in front of the man. It's always going to be behind, because you always even see women walk behind men, never walk beside them. In some cultures, women are not even allowed to walk beside men. They have to walk behind them. You know, women wasn't allowed to go to church. Women were never allowed to pray to God. Women were never allowed to vote. Women were never allowed to be in politics. Was to be lawyers, doctors, senators, policemen, firemen. They couldn't be any of these things. They only could be nurses, caregivers, babysitters, teachers. Women could only write in typewriters. Until World War II, and women were allowed to do a lot more things in World War II, when men were off to war and women started, working for the military, started building tanks, started building planes, started doing rivets on boats and ships, and started to be mechanics, started to be electricians, started to be welders. These were women were doing, because men were out to war. And next thing you know, women started not liking it too much, so they quit. But they came back because they loved the money and they loved the nights out and going out and parties. So they went back and worked again during World War II. And next thing women were cut off from the military right after that. But women were getting little by little to go in the military. They wasn't even allowed to carry guns. They wasn't even allowed to be in the military. How do you keep women away from things? How? You have a mother. Your mother took care of you for 18 years. She gave birth to you. She fed you. She breastfed you. She changed your diaper. She washed your ass. Do all these things for you. But you despise the women that you're with once you leave your mother. You beat women. You abuse women. You mentally, physically, emotionally do these things. But every man will say women will do the same thing. But you got to understand what women go through every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, most of their life. And most of the women are probably not working. They're on disability. They're on welfare. They're on child support because these women that are young don't know anything about being a woman because a lot of the times the father does not teach the woman how to be a woman because a man can't teach a woman how to be a woman, but he can protect her. That's what a man's supposed to do for his daughter is protect her and show her that all men are going to try to destroy you. So you got to stand up for yourself. Be independent, be strong. That's what a man should teach a woman. Not to be weak and not to be submissive, but be strong, be mentally strong, be educated strong. Because when she becomes a woman, she has to protect herself from a man that's going to probably tear her down. See, women, in the case of me saying they were created first, because I believe the man destroyed the woman to be what she is today. Because if men could just let women be women, men will actually try their best to destroy women again. That's why they don't want them to be what I said, independent, strong, equal. They don't want them because they see what the woman's personality is and how strong it is and how women can do things that men thought women could not do. You know, not being equal to lifting heavy things because I don't think a man should ever bring up, oh, I'm stronger than you because I could beat you down. How does that make a man be better than a woman just because a woman can't do that type of stuff to a man? Fight them. You know, a man wants to prove a point to a woman that a man is stronger than her because he can put his hands on her. You know, what about thinking, education, doing things that a man can't do that a woman can't do? But sometimes a man can do what a woman can do. It's just that a man will always think that's weak. Weakness is not because of strength. Weakness is because of your mind. If you don't know how to use your mind, you are weak. Your soul is weak because you feel that you're stronger than that person just because you could lift 100 pounds and she could only lift 50. How does that make a man stronger than a woman? Because a woman's brain is probably going to outstrength a man because a man's brain is not as strong as a woman's brain. Because remember, a woman is taught at a young age to be a mother. A woman has a period, so she matures probably at around the age 9, 10, or 11 years old, while a man doesn't mature until he's like in his 40s. So think about that. A man is never taught to be a man because when we're children, we're only taught to be kids. A woman is taught how to be a child, be a grown woman at the age of 9 because she sees children or she's around children. She's helped raising children. I always will see a little girl always trying to raise her little brother or raise her little sister. You don't see boys doing that. I see a little boy protecting his little sister, protecting his little brother, but not changing their diaper, trying to feed them, telling them bedtime stories, or hugging them and kissing them like a little girl does. Because a girl is not taught that. She already had that in her brain because that is what that's what she was created to do, is take care of a child. A man is never created to learn any of that except to hunt, probably to protect. But that's why I believe women are more different than men, way a thousand years different than a man. A man can only look at a woman and be mad at her and say, damn, why can't I do that with a child? Because when we see our child run to the mother and we're like, damn, what the fuck? I want some love. Oh, don't worry about it. Wait till she get older. She's going to love you. Because I had that with my daughter. I always thought my daughter hated me because my daughter always wanted her mother. But the thing was that I didn't understand of being a father that a child's going to need her mother more than a father. Because number one, breastfeeding. Two, a mother is more nurturing than a father is, and more open to listen than a father. And I'm not saying to be mean to my men, because I'm a man and I look at it the way I look at it, because this is my belief. And I believe if you going to sit there and tell me that I'm wrong, okay, you believe that because that's your choice. But that is my belief. I believe women were created first. I believe women are smarter than men. I believe if man got an opportunity to sit back and look at the woman, they will actually start believing that the woman was created first. Not out of belief of strength. Just because a man can, lift 1,000 pounds, you know, I believe that if you look at the woman, the way the woman can give birth to men, not man give birth to men, even though a man carries a seed, but the seed is only to fertilize, not to create. And the man only could watch the woman give birth to his child that she carried for 9 months that was created inside her. Think about this. This is a 9 month, probably 10 month period of pain and agony. Her carrying a baby that's the size of a damn basketball that rotates in her stomach until the day the child is born, kicking, punching, scratching, shitting, all in her to be born. And she's carrying this 9 months while a man can stand there and leave anytime he wants to, go off and be so with another woman, have children with other women, 10, 11, 12 children with other women, and never be looked down upon as a woman being a single mother with 3 kids by herself, being destroyed by a man. But a man could go out there and have 5 or 6 or 7 kids with another woman and never be looked at as a hoe, a smut, a tot, or anything else. But now a man can be said, well, I'm not a deadbeat father because I take care of my own. But a woman can't make a choice of who the child she wants to take care of. She has to take care of the child. A man can make a choice of what child he wants to take care of. If he want to take care of the baby mom that he had a child first, or he can take care of the baby mom that he had the ninth child with, he can choose what child he wants to take care of. A woman can't make that decision. A woman has to take care of a child every day, 365 days a year. If she has more than one child, she has to do it. That's just my opinion. You know, when women came down onto this earth and set their feet on this earth, they looked at earth as a way of saying, I don't want to be alone, so let me create something. She created man. Man did not understand why he was here, but she gave him a chance to give the man a chance to reprocreate himself and a female. So he gave him sperm. Bang, the child was born. Now, if man don't want to believe me, they want to say some smart shit to me, I don't care. Say whatever you want bad about me. I don't care. This is my opinion. This is my belief. I don't go by the Bible, because until somebody tell me where God is and where he's going to come down and show me where he is, then I'll go through that. But I believe women were the ones that were here first. And I will always believe that until the day I die. Because I believe women are angels that were sent here, but they got broken. Like everybody talk about the book of Enoch. Talk about how the angels met the women that were men. The angels were men and they met the women on earth and they had sex with the women and they gave birth to man. But the thing is that man always been this God throughout time. But if you really look at it, women were worshipped more than men throughout time. Things were worshipped that were like volcanoes or the land, the ocean, the sea, or the clouds were named by women. Venus, nobody talks about Venus, the planet, you know, that was named after a female. A couple of things were named after females, like California and many other places around the world that were named after females. There were queens. Even in Egypt, women were worshipped like gods. And even in Zimbabwe, a former kingdom, women will worship, the mothers will worship as gods. And not just in Greece, Roman, all the women will worship as gods. So how is it that men in the past, way past, worship their mothers as gods or goddesses? But today, men don't even worship their women at all. But they'll tell a woman she's beautiful. They'll tell a woman she's gorgeous. Don't make a woman feel like she's beautiful. Why? Why did men did that in the past? And this is during kingdoms that they actually worship their queens and their mothers as goddesses. They actually took their kingdom over to protect their fucking women. But today you don't see men worshiping their queens or worshiping their goddesses. They're destroying them mentally, physically, and emotionally because they don't like that they're not submissive. They're not giving themselves to them, which men think women should give themselves to them. And I don't understand why is that supposed to happen, because men should not be trying to make women do anything because they never made their mother do anything. They worship their mother. How does man worship their mother, but they don't worship the woman that's not their mother? Why do they treat women differently than their mothers? I don't understand it and I never will. Why do we look at our women differently than we look at our mothers? But they do the same thing. They're carrying our children. So why don't we treat them with respect? And why do we hate single mothers so much? Knowing that our mothers were single mothers. And we watched our mothers struggle. Even if they were in a relationship with our dads or a relationship with some man, we watched them struggle. We try to look at the older couples to handle them like veterans, but we always should look at our mothers, because our mothers is the ones that we are going to always be around for more than our fathers. And we look at our mothers, and then we leave our mothers to go with some woman. Next thing you know, we turn around and treat the woman like trash. Now, I'm not saying that women don't treat men like trash, because women do. Because they don't have no values and no respect for men. But when you have a mother that raised you for so many years and watched you grow from a child to a grown man and wiped away all your tears every day when you cried and you ran to her, mom, 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 and she would just drop everything for you. She will run to you. She will hug you and kiss you. Make sure you're okay. She'll be the first one to cry when she hears something happens to you. She'll be the first one to talk to you, make you feel good about yourself as a man. You will go to her house where she cooks, cleans, cooks, cleans, makes dinner for you. She'll come to your house, clean your house, wash your clothes. This is your mother doing this. Your mother don't have to do this. Your father wouldn't even do that for you, but your mother does that. Your mother will come and ring your doorbell. Son, what you doing? Nothing. I'm coming over here to clean your house. For what? I got a wife. F your wife. I'm your mother. Men even get in arguments with their girlfriends so that their mother sit in the front seat of a car. This is how valuable a woman is. But a man's value to a woman is disappearing. You don't see men value women anymore because a way the internet is actually showing women, or betraying women or disrespecting women, or women disrespecting themselves, tearing themselves down. And now their children are going through this. Now I understand why men are mad and hating the fact the way women are doing what they're doing. But I'm hoping one day people will see my belief system. If you don't want to follow me, you can unfollow me. If you don't want to look at my video, go ahead. I'm going to have people say some mean things to me. I probably have friends probably say I'm crazy because I say these things. I don't care. I don't care how people think about me anymore. I'm a very blunt person, very real person. It's not because I love women to death. Because I had a mother, a sister, my daughter. I look at them as queens. They just have their own personality, which us men don't have like them. We have a different personality. We have a different belief system. We have a different way we do things. Women have different ways they do things. And we're going back and forth with, you know, issues of what's going on out here in the world today, of how women tore themselves up from being trying to be influencers and models and working on OnlyFans, and men don't like it because it's not the fact that women are making money for themselves, it's how they're doing it. It's sad. It's sad. The way the women was portrayed thousands of years ago to the way the women look, the way the men are looking at women today. It's crazy. Well, I'm done. Take my ass to sleep. God bless everybody.